I really cannot tell you how many people have been very kind, very nice. But I do have to tell you about one situation. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Silver and Sensational. It is Lois, as in Lois Mills, welcoming you back to my channel and hoping that all of you had a good holiday. Here I am in my apartment in Paris, and it's going to be a very casual conversation that I'm going to have with you today because I'm going to kind of go over what I've experienced so far and what my day-to-day life is and what I'm thinking and feeling at this moment. Oh, you know what? It is exactly 2 months that I've been here, so 8 weeks, and it's been quite an experience. So I went over how difficult it is to find an apartment, and especially an apartment with an elevator. And of course, I had these concepts of elevator and air conditioning. Well, air conditioning went out the window, but elevator was not negotiable. So the apartment, as I said before, is small. It's in a great location. While I'm with you, you may hear sirens going, which go all day and all night, but for some reason, night seems to be when all these police and ambulances and fire trucks go by. I don't understand. And it's also interesting, having come from LA now in Paris at 9 o'clock, and we are towards the end of April, 9 o'clock at night, it's still light out. And that is something to get used to. But one of the things, let's talk about a few of the things, and I've had a wonderful person who found me the apartment and pretty much has been my go-to person here in Paris. This lovely gal, Madai, doing an wonderful presentation of what it takes to come in, to make your move to France. She has a very dear friend who lives in Bordeaux, and he's been a great help. But, when you start with internet and TVs, telephones, and banks. Now, Jay, who's a wonderful man, has a very nice relationship with a banker. So I didn't have to wait 3 weeks for an appointment. I got in to see a banker, and it didn't take hours. It took about an hour and a half. And at the bank, they do everything. Well, almost everything. They help you set up your internet and your mobile phone, TV, provide the tenant's insurance. But when I say this, I mean it's the paperwork for all of this that they handle. And, of course, your bank account. And you really need to have a bank account in France. That's a non-starter. You must. So that was the easy part. Therefore, I thought I was doing the right thing. I wanted and needed a new phone. So I bought it in the States, thinking I should buy it in the States, like Apple isn't in France, but I thought I was doing the right thing. Well, unbeknownst to me, there are dual SIM cards, but American models are 2 dual SIM eSIM cards rather. And in France, one is an eSIM and one is a physical SIM. And we tell you, all this stuff is above my pay grade. Thank God for Jay, who came through and did and whatever. But I will say, I'm still dealing with, why am I getting billed for one of those pay cards with a number? It doesn't end. And the Fire Stick, and should I get a VPN? And the VPN, I couldn't pay my rent because it wouldn't go through the bank account. And then somebody said, well, do you have a VPN on? And I said, yes. Oh, well, that's why it won't go through. Another thing is I got an Amazon Fire Stick, and I'm trying to add apps to the TV, and Amazon won't let me add it. They won't. Let me say this. I'm going to put this out there. You have to have a French credit card to order digital on Amazon. You could use your American Express card. Now, I did have a French credit card because I got that through the bank. But now let me tell you about security. I mean, these people know security. You have to wait for a special code before you could use an ATM. And that code comes through the mail. And if you lose it, you're totally screwed. Then if you try to make a wire transfer, well, you need a different code and they send you a little ID card. It is just amazing the number of things that are so very different, which I found really just complicated. And, I just lost patience with what seemed to be killing an ant with a baseball bat, but this is how they do things. So, moving on to the day-to-day, I have markets very close by. I buy a few things. I try to eat out probably every second or third day. And I'll tell you, people that I dealt with really overstated the difference in costs. So as you probably remember, living in Los Angeles and coming here, Los Angeles is the second most expensive city in the country and the eighth, I think, most expensive city in the world. So coming here, or actually going anywhere, but I can only speak for myself, coming here, the rents seem to be much cheaper, and I guess they are. Certain things like mobile phone is $30 a month because the French call that a life necessity. And that includes my calling the States at no additional charge. TV and internet's about $42 a month. So comparing $130 in LA, $200 for TV, $90, actually $94 for internet. Truth be told, I have yet to take public transportation in terms of the metro or the bus. I'm not ready to make that step yet. I need to get better bearings of where things are before I'm going to do that. So I walk a lot or I take taxis, which the taxis aren't particularly inexpensive, but I find them to be more reliable and cleaner than Uber, and there's an app for taxis that works the same as Uber. Food-wise, big difference I see is in the grocery markets. It is substantially less in the markets, very much so. That's not even comparing apples and apples because the quality of what you're buying here is, I'm afraid to say, so superior. So I met this young man who moved here with his mother from Florida, and he had a lot of food allergies. And they'd been here 8 months, and he said he has no problem with the food whatsoever. So I find that pretty remarkable. I will say, my God, I don't know what to say in terms of produce, meats, fish, cheese. People here are very, very proud of everything that they do. So the man who has the fromagerie is very specific in his cheese and how it's cut and gives you a taste and everything. Bakeries are very proud of whatever recognition they get from the French authorities as to the quality or, of their baguette. I mean, there's two different kinds. There's the baguette, then there's the traditionnel. One is more sourdough, one is lighter. Their pastries, of course, are, what can I say? I mean, a croissant here is nothing like the croissant we get in the States. Now, there are some people in the States who make a superb croissant. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. But what I am saying is everywhere you go, the difference is that I always felt that after I'd been here for so many times and would have a croissant in the morning that I never could eat them at home very much because they seem so rubbery at home, and here they're light and flaky, and of course the amount of butter and but again, between the butter and the wine and the cheeses, it's remarkable that they have far less heart disease than we Americans do. But at any rate, So groceries are much different. But what I don't see a great difference in is restaurants, which is why I am not eating out every day. Now, granted, I live in a more upscale area. I am very close to the French Senate. So there's a lot of business people, politicians going to lunch. So it's pricier. I would say it's really on par with where Los Angeles was just before COVID. And maybe some of the places are neck and neck with where Los Angeles restaurant prices are today. However, once again, I have to say that quality is outstanding. Now, I'm not going to say every restaurant's like that because it's not. I'm not a haute cuisine person. I love bistro food, and it's that kind of food I'm judging by. Although some very dear friends of mine from LA were here a couple of weeks ago, and their concierge at their hotel recommended this incredible restaurant for souffles. And I have not had a cheese souffle in I can't tell you how many years. And I absolutely was in seventh heaven when this tray came out with individual cheese souffle, light, well above the top of the souffle bowl, and a beautiful green salad, which I have to say, there's something about what they do with their salads that I cannot do at home. I have yet to have a bad salad, and it's the dressing, it's just enough. Every lettuce leaf is coated, but it's not drowning, it's not fake tasting. They do great, great salads.
Oh my God, that sounds so amazing.
And in terms of getting around and finding things, I found a terrific hairstylist. It's a Japanese hair salon. And again, most everyone speaks English. Same thing with the nail salon. And I really cannot tell you how many people have been very kind, very nice. But I do have to tell you about one situation. So, I packed, because I knew it was going to be raining, I packed 2 raincoats, a trench coat. So when I was in the south of France 4 years ago, I saw this khaki-colored raincoat that had crazy painting on the back and words, and it was lined. It actually was lined in sort of a flannel, and it's reversible. And the other coat I bought online, which came from Ireland, and it's waxed cotton, and it's 100% waterproof. Plus, it also has a thin lining of wool. And anyone that knows Paris weather, it's very rainy and it's damp feeling. So packing these, and we vacuum packed them, and of course they came out completely wrinkled. So I brought them over one morning to they call them pressing places. They're dry cleaners to us, to the pressing. And this lady comes out, and I have both of the coats on the counter. She's got kind of a sneer on her face. I mean, she's really sneering at me. She looks, and she takes her hand, and she's doing this across. She won't even touch them. She's just, whoa. I'm looking at her like, what the hell? And she says, no, plastic. I said, that's not plastic. It's waxed cotton. No, 80 euro each. No English. I said, 80 euro each. No English. Your English that you spoke is very good. So I think you'll understand this. Go to hell. Grabbed the coats, walked. I was furious. Well, I couldn't wait to get to my computer to Yelp this person big time. Lo and behold, don't I see she's got 1 star. She has done this to, even French people. So but the thing is that she does understand English. And her English was as many French people speak. Don't have z, the way it used to be years ago. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Very, very British type, American type English. it's really very rare that I get someone who is not nice. So it's pretty amazing. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. And I say that because it's way too soon to know if I want to make this my permanent home. I'm here, I know, for at least a year. What I am thinking is that I may not stay here through the bad winter months, but that's because it's too much like Chicago, which is my hometown, which I left mainly because of the weather. And I knew that going in when I came here. So it was always sort of a plan B in the back of my mind. I think I'm probably still in the honeymoon stage. And I've got so much to learn and so much to see. I'm excited about the museums having, it's just remarkable. The Luxembourg Gardens, which I have sort of a mini video that I'll show in the next couple of weeks. There's just so much to do here. And as I say, it's coming into spring, so the weather is getting better. And when I moved here into this apartment, which is 1 month ago, the trees were all barren. And now I'm looking out my window and the leaves are 100% on all of the trees. So there's lots to do. This has been a very crowded 2 weeks because it's spring break. And so there's lots of people from everywhere. And I will say a lot of Americans. On that note, I invite you to join me again to hear what I'm doing next in this city of lights. In the meantime, please, we need you to make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when I'm coming back on. And subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps me. No one's going to bother you. Doesn't cost you anything. And of course, you share me with your friends and family. And down in the description box, I would love any comments that you make. I always enjoy reading them. And there is a link to my blog, which comes out every Sunday. So in the meantime, I hope you found what I had to say today something of interest to you, and I'm giving you the lowdown the way it is. And from my previous, I've got over 100 YouTube episodes now, I shoot straight from the hip. So you're getting the real deal when I'm telling you what's happening here in my life. In the meantime, I wish you all well, and I say bye now.